Yeah, I've been sitting on a screen. I didn't know how to type my name in.
Oh,
To
that's
type your
funny.
name and then just let me join or let me
That
ask.
It's all good. Usually, just people just pop up out of nowhere, and then I just saw it's like Gavin wants to join this meeting. I'm like, oh well, I'll let him in. I just clicked it in.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, shit.
it's good to finally get to know you, man. It's like it's
Yeah.
interesting. We would always like cross paths on the boat or on the barracks. We never interacted, but now we're the stars of the show. We got the
Yeah. Yeah. No, she asked me, my girlfriend Lily asked me, we coming back from meeting her parents. She's like, did you hang out with them a lot? I was like, no, we crossed paths. I think the last time that I know for sure we hung out was that little Christmas party or something in the
yes.
barrack in the
Oh
lobby.
my god, I
I saw that
remember
picture
that.
the other day.
That was Oh yeah, wait, you said the picture for it?
I got a picture of it. It's all us. I know Popa was there. I don't know who else was there. It
It's
was
like
in the
one of my
barrack.
favorite photos of all time, if I'm thinking of the right one, because I forgot you were in that one. Oh my god,
Yeah.
we're closer than we think. Let me, yeah, I got
Yeah.
to dig through this one because that Christmas party, I remember that one because I was getting out. I want to say like the day before or after that, and then we were there also because Popo was going to have his going away party pretty soon or something
Yeah.
like that. So he was advertising his stuff. But,
Yeah. See, oh, yeah. I don't know if it's the whole picture, but
yes, that's it. Everybody.
I think that's the one time I know for sure we hung out. I think you came to the Oak Hill for a minute while I was on there.
We did go to the Oak Hill, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was on there for the whole deployment. I went to all 3 ships.
So how did that work with you? Because I know, because I can't remember if it was Cat 1 or Cat 2 that we had. We had half a cat with us on the Baton. And then I know there was golf and then some of Cat on the Oak Hill, but how did that work? Who was all?
So I think, well, Colin said he was in Cat 1, so they were all on the Baton.
Okay.
I want to ask, you mind if I got a beer open here?
Oh, you're fine.
Is that cool? Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Oh yeah, if anything, I should probably get a drink so we can get on an evil playing field mentally.
Yeah, no, this is my second one.
I got some catching up to do.
Yeah. So Cat 1 was on the Baton with, I don't know who, whatever company was on there with them. I know it was a bunch of different people, but I forget what line company they had with them. Was it Fox or no? Echo. They were on there with Echo. Or no?
Yeah. So the Baton, it was it was Cat 1, Fox, H&S, and then 81s.
Okay, so Echo was with Cat 2 and on the New York, and that's who I was with. I was with Cat 2. I did the ARG missions or whatever the 2 months or something we did.
Yeah.
And then I started the deployment. I didn't go to the Oak Hill until, so I think we ported. I don't know if we were the only ship to port, but the New York ported in Morocco for like an hour. And that's when they started shooting rockets and shit at whatever camp in Iraq or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. When the Soleimani, when that drone strike happened.
Yeah. That's when they said, hey, we're heading to the Suez Canal, going to the Gulf of Oman, whatever. And that's when they started deciding, hey, it was kind of like a thing with leadership. They sent one guy from the Cat 2 and one guy from Cat 1. So it was me and Ben Hargett.
Okay.
Bald guy.
Yep.
And we went to the Oak Hill, and we just got assigned to their weapons platoon. So we were with the rockets. We got to each shoot a small, actually.
No shit.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's actually pretty fun going to kind of like living with the line company. I know it was a weapons platoon, but.
Yeah. So were you guys kind of like integrated with them, or were you almost treated kind of like a corpsman or an RO, where you were like left to yourself and had your own independence a little bit? Or?
At first, like when we first got there, their berthing was completely full. So me and Hargett got like a room to ourselves.
Oh, sick.
And so they're kind of letting us do our own thing. And then after, I think they sent a machine gun team to either a team or a section to Djibouti. I don't remember who all it was from golf, but I know David Smiles was one of the guys that went. I think a guy Compton went. They sent like a team to Djibouti. I don't know what they all did, but yeah, they were like, hey, you guys can't stay in your own room. You got to be with the platoon now. So we got the shittiest racks, obviously.
Yeah.
I think mine was very bottom. I have no idea where Hargett was. But then after that, we kind of just got put directly with the Rocket guys.
Okay. Now, if I could backtrack just for the sake of like fun little question, do you which rack do you think makes the best, the bottom one, middle, or the top? Because I remember middle rack.
Yeah. So in the New York, obviously, New York had the best racks. They had the L shapes.
Okay, yeah.
That was top tier. I really didn't give a shit about any rack because I just liked all of them.
Yeah.
So on the regular racks, like I think there were 3 high. Were they 3 high? Yeah. Like three people.
Yeah.
Middle's the best. Because bottom, you got to get on your knees and go through your shit and get your gear. Middle, you can just stand there. It's a lot more convenient.
Oh, yeah. You can, because I had a middle rack too. And it was just like everything's, it's like desk level when you're standing up. You know, you don't have to like bend over awkward or climb up to get your stuff. It's like everything's here. And then you just hop right in your rack when you're ready to chillax or something.
So I think on the New York, I had middle rack. But then on the Oak Hill, and then when they sent us the baton at the very end, I had bottoms. It was last picks.
At what point were you on the baton? You said at the very. So were you like what, summertime or like?
So I did right before we went through the Strait of Gibraltar, I think.
Okay.
Oh wait, no. I don't know how long after Morocco we pulled out of Morocco because we literally we New York ported. The Navy did whatever they had to do to be successfully in port.
Yeah.
Is the noise too loud?
No, it's fine.
All right. My he's kind of rambunctious.
No.
If it gets too loud, you can't hear me or something. Just let me know.
Right.
But I'm not sure how long after we left Morocco. I know it was before the Suez that they decided that I was going to the Oak Hill. But I want to say the last 3, maybe 4 weeks, around that time period, they sent me and Hargett back to the baton.
Okay.
So it was like the last month. All the training was pretty much done. We weren't doing shit but watching movies. But
yeah, wasn't a whole lot, really needed for.
Yeah, really for the whole deployment. Just working out, wasting time.
So it was all of. So if I'm trying to piece it because I find that kind of cool that so it was just you and then Haggart were just kind of mobbing with each other on whatever boat you were going to, or why did they split up Cat 2 just the way they did?
So the Cat 2, Cat 1 and 2, they've always been kind of split. Fox was with Cat 2, and I don't know how they compare. Not compare, but I don't know how they decide which cat goes to which line company or whatever. Yeah. But they knew that New York was going to be with Echo. Not New York. Cat 2 was going to be with Echo on the New York. And then with Fox, they had Cat 1. So all I know is that Golf had no missile capabilities, like anti-tank, other than rockets, AT-4s, and smalls. And that was kind of how they explained it to me. They picked me. I can tell you they picked me because they didn't want me in the platoon. I think, I don't want to say his name, but the guy, the platoon sergeant, he fucking hated me. It was right after I got my DUI, got NJP'd, all that fun stuff. So they were looking for a reason. Hargett, I don't know why they sent him.
Yeah. But yeah, I see kind of normal politics kind of moving people's stuff like that.
Yeah.
I see.
And then they sent us to the baton at the end just to get us back at weapons company.
Now, since you're one of the few people who's been on each of the ships, and I would say for a good bit of time, for each one, what do you like? All right, first off, which one's your favorite boat? I got a feeling I know which one you're going to say.
I'm going to say the New York, just because the New York's cool in itself.
Okay.
But Baton's not far behind it. But New York, so I started out on the New York, so I had high expectations after that. And then I got sent to the Oak Hill, and I don't know if he was a company first sergeant or the platoon sergeant. I'm not gonna say his name, but first thing he said to me, because I showed up, I got on the wrong helicopter to get there.
Okay.
To get from the New York to the Oak Hill. And so I show up, and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing here? You're supposed to be here in like 6 hours." And I was like, "Well, I'm here." And then there's a previous cat gun. He sees me. He's like, "What's going on, man? What are you doing here?" And I tell him, and he's like, "Well, welcome to the Broke Hill." So I went from the New York to the fucking very bottom. And then I think the last day I was on the hotel, me and Hargett were like, "All right, we got time for chow." They served us fucking, I think it was like one piece of ham, like a little 1/4-inch thick piece of ham, and a spring corn, because that was all they had. They were getting supplied that day. So they had fucking nothing to eat. And then that night we go to the baton, and you guys just had all kind of food. So.
Yeah, that's the one thing I've heard from everyone who came over, because like ironically we complained about rations too, but then when we had people coming from the New York and the Oak Hill, they're saying, "Man, you guys get so much food here." We're like, "The fuck?" Like,
the New York, they didn't give a shit about the Navy side. They were doing whatever, but they only had Navy serving Navy, and then they had Marines serving Marines, because there's a separate line for each branch.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think it was one of our boots, I think Long. He almost got like fucking negative paperwork because he was giving Marines extra scoops.
Really?
And because you were only supposed to get one scoop of this, one piece of meat, and they were super strict about it on the Marine side. On the Navy side, they didn't give a fuck. But they had plenty, you know. And then the Oak Hill, for some reason, they just fucking stingy with it.
From the because we liked the Oak Hill when we were over there, because it seemed like there was no. We looked at it from the aspect of like there's just no higher ups over there, and there's not a lot of people on the boat.
That was nice.
Yeah, I was about to say, what did you think of that?
Yeah, other than the fact that they did have us train a lot, like do a lot of like we go out at night, do night clearing parts of the ship that we could get into, you know, that we wouldn't get in trouble or scare the shit out of somebody.
Yeah,
and then had us going out at night doing just mag drills, all kind of shit, that as much as you could do on that small of a ship and with the equipment we had, you know. Other than that, like even during the day we were out doing, they'd make us go and like do scheduled PTs and shit like that pretty much every day. But as we got further into the deployment, that kind of slacked off, and then it was just chill, man. You could walk around. Most of the officers that were there, they were pretty cool, and especially towards the middle end, they didn't give a fuck. You know, you didn't have to. I mean, you got your sticklers, but it was, like you said, a lot less command, so it was a lot more relaxed walking around. You're not gonna scared you're gonna turn a corner and see a bunch of black fucking rockers and not know what to say.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting because I like your since you bounced around so much, like what did you think of that deployment as a whole? Because everybody always talks about how it like sucked per se, because you know it's just
I didn't mind it. I don't know. I enjoyed being with the 11s, and I didn't mind the deployment that much. So I think when we got off, I don't know if it was a rumor or what, that 2-8 was going to go right on to another MEU. That was like, so the next, once we finished our MEU, I don't know if it was just a rumor or something, but I think the next deployment scheduled was supposed to be another MEU or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I think I remember hearing something about that too.
And then once I found that out, I started talking to a career planner, and I was going to extend 2 years and do it again. I was like, dude, I think I gained 40 pounds on that deployment.
40? 40? Shit.
Yes. I got stretch marks on my arms because I was doing it very poorly. I was just working out arms one day, chest the next. And so I was in the best shape I've ever been, the biggest I've ever been in my life. I'm just naturally skinny.
Yeah. So just to clarify, this was all good weight, right? This wasn't like 40 pounds, like, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I went from 140 to, I think the highest I was about 199, 198. I never quite, at least I never stood on a scale and it said 200, but I was always above 195.
Yeah.
Not always, but I got to above 195.
Mm-hmm.
And I came up, we got home and I was big. Well, my legs weren't very big, but I had a nice chest and nice arms.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, I could do that again. Had a little bit of money in the bank. It was like, shit, this ain't too bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna push these height and weight standards by the time we get going this next one.
Well, since I'm kind of tall, my weight could have been like, I think like 250 or something. I don't know what it is for 6 foot, but I know I wasn't close to it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was like, fuck. I was like, just keep this kind of going for a little while. But no, I was ready to go on another one. And then they said the UDP, and I didn't like Japan all that much.
Okay.
So I was like, fuck that. I'm going home.
Yeah.
I didn't even go home.
Yeah, you and Flannery just moved into a house out in Tampa.
Yeah. Well, no, we moved to Orlando. He just.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's a whole nother story there. But yeah. So I was already gonna move here. I was already enrolled in school before I got out.
Okay.
Trade school. I went. Was actually a rep on base. Got me all signed up. Did everything pretty much for me. But to be a marine mechanic, a boat mechanic here, there's a school here. So moved down here. And I think I told him one day, I was like, well, if you find yourself in Orlando, because I think he applied to Texas A&M for some reason. He's like, why the fuck not?
Uh-huh.
And he obviously got declined. And I think the next day he's like looking at houses on Zillow and places to rent in Orlando. I'm like, so you going to Orlando? I was like, maybe we should talk about.
Yeah.
They kind of developed from there. I think every night we'd get some beer, whatever we want to drink, and just sit there all night, get shit hammered, and look at houses to rent. And we'd get numbers we want to call for the next day.
Yep.
All over again.
You can move the Marines out of the barracks, but you can't move the Marine out of the man.
Yeah.
That's so funny because I'm curious how you interpret it all, because like where I live in Phoenix, both of my roommates are Marines, and I met them in college. Like I didn't know them when I was on the East Coast, but when I hear this, and then I hear because there's a couple other people that were in Albin and Floyd were one of them for a little bit, but there's been a handful of people that were in our unit that moved out and then like lived together as Marines.
I know they did it just from CAAT alone specifically. I know all of our old guys, I say old, they were only about 30. Gauscher.
Shout out to him, by the way. He just had a daughter, I think.
Yeah, I know. He sent that picture. She's a nice little girl. Good for him. Congrats.
Yeah, congrats, homie.
Yeah. Yeah, him, Blake, and Cannell. They all moved. Well, I say Blake, Davis Blake. Blake Davis, however you want to say it. I don't remember which one's the first name. Davis is his last name, though. No, they all moved to Tennessee together, and they lived there and went to school there for a while. I think other than that, I don't know of anybody. Yeah, I think that's it. So, and then me and Colin, Floyd and Alvin.
Yeah.
And now there's a shit ton of people here in Florida.
Yeah.
Especially just from CAAT. I listened to a college podcast today, and I heard y'all talking about it. I was like, no shit. And there's more than you guys even said.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember right when I had gotten out, I saw like the reunions that a lot of the CAAT guys did. I assume maybe you were there or not, but I was just thinking to myself, like, why did all of CAAT just migrate to Florida? Like, it's like there's so many people over there. Yeah. And I know we're all East Coast, but it's like, damn, I leave Florida and then everybody goes over there. It's like I feel like I missed out a little bit.
And then like I don't know, it's because we're close to Orlando. I've had a lot of guys coming like, hey, we're gonna be down there for the weekend or something. Like David Edwards, he came for a weekend. Just stopped for the day. They had a wedding to go to or something. Not even on vacation. Well, probably a vacation, but and he stopped for a day. I forgot who else. I know that's just people stopping, but I know for sure there's like at least 6. I haven't actually counted, but I know some of our boots, they came, like you guys talked about Strauser. I'm pretty sure Olney is living down here, Leone.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of guys. It's kind of crazy. And I don't really talk to any of them.
It's funny you mentioned that. I think it was it no, Burnett. He from I don't know if you remember him, but he was from LAR. We were talking about that, how like it's funny how guys, like, we just don't talk to each other at all for like 10 years, even though we like live next to each other or something like that. But then when we do meet up with each other, it's like we met yesterday or something like that.
Yeah, it's like we've never left.
Yeah. But it's I'm curious to hear what you think about this. I'm trying to think I forget who was talking to me about it, but like 2 weeks ago, I think it was 4 years when we came back from the boat, when we finally landed. So it's been an entire enlistment since that whole thing went down. And, I don't know. It's it's weird to think that we've been out that long, and that little segment of our life is just
it's gone.
It's like, yeah, it's buried
a long time ago. That's we were listening to it in the car, and you asked Colin that question. I was like, Jesus Christ. It feels like it was yesterday. I don't know if it's because this 4 years went by so much faster than those. But I guess now looking back, it's like those kind of flew by too, and we just were miserable in between.
Yep.
It is nice to think about.
It is, man. Especially like with all the, I don't know. It's weird how like we're kind of different now. It's like you were like I didn't know much about who you were prior to this, but then when Colin was telling me, he was like, yeah, you were just a regular guy from Louisiana. Now you're a family man, going after 4 years. You know?
Yeah, I moved down here, and next thing you know, 2 kids, and then we're still in the same place me and Colin moved into.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
Been through 2 different career paths. Been to 2 different trade schools. A lot has happened. One kid's sleeping, one kid trying to be entertained, so he's not a fucking maniac.
Nah, I feel you, man. They're both your kids are under 5 years old, so they're probably all just.
One will be 5 this year, and then the other one just turned 2 this month.
Okay. Yeah, so they're still just a big ball of energy, and they don't know how to channel it.
Yeah. Well, my daughter, she's very smart, very talkative, but she's pretty good. And my son, he's a fucking wrecking ball. He is nuts. The fact that he hasn't had stitches yet it's nuts.
I'm curious to hear how it is, because I talk with some other guys who've like, now that they have kids, and just like my own family, like in our cohort, like just how is it just being a dad now? Like, because I imagine like being a girl dad, like it's probably like a blast, but then you also have a son who's like a toddler, so I imagine it's just like
it's a lot easier to be a boy dad.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just because how I was raised, because I have 2 sisters, but by the time I was born, they were super older than me, and I had a girl cousin, but she acted just like me and my older brother. So we were always just running around as these dirty ass little Cajuns, running out in the marsh trying to steal cigarettes and shit. But it's a lot easier, especially with her. She remembers shit. Like most kids, you could tell them, like, hey, yeah, maybe we'll get McDonald's when I pick you up from school.
Yeah.
And then that's it. You don't have to get a McDonald's. Her, you pick her up from school, she's like, are we going to McDonald's or not?
Damn it.
She's and just the girly stuff. I'm not used to the girly stuff. It's hard for me to get into.
Yeah.
And then him, he's like I said, he's a wrecking ball, so it's a lot easier to have fun with a wrecking ball.
Yeah. Is it fun? I mean, I imagine since he's only 2, you haven't been able to like. Are you at that point now where you're starting to like interact with him a little more, since he's like?
No, he's always like, we don't go out and do things like fishing or nothing or like that, but
Yeah.
So I'll get like seafood, like I'll get live crabs or live crawfish, or I'll go fishing and bring back fish, and they kind of do stuff like that. And he interacts somewhat. He's kind of scared of most of it, but it's. I don't really know a good way to really end that question, but that question.
Oh no, you're okay. I understand. I was just because
it's weird.
Yeah,
weird.
No, it's hard to articulate. I get it. I was always curious because like when kids are born, I've always heard like dads, there's not really anything you can do for like the first year or two that they're alive because it's like they just need to be taken care of for like everything. Pretty much,
yeah,
they're babies, and then as they hit toddler age, you can. That's when you're able to shine and like do stuff with them.
So I thought I got a better way to say it.
Yeah.
When they're first born, so when you're pregnant, you, at least for me, and I know a lot of people, it's like you love the kid because it's yours, but you don't feel attached to it as much as the mother, especially because they're growing it.
Yeah.
But once they were born, it became real. And then it's like, oh man, I'm excited. I want to do stuff with them. And then they're just boring as shit. they're just super boring. It's like all this guy does is cry, shit, and drink milk. It's like, what the fuck can I do with him? And you just got to get past that. I think what'd you say, about 6 months? Till they start. Yeah, once they start crawling, that's when it's like, oh shit. Yeah. Especially him. He kind of started, I feel like he started early because his sister.
Because of what?
His sister, so she was already walking and running around. So he started moving around pretty quick, trying to get after her. And now he's a fucking mess. And that's one thing too. A lot of people told me, they're like, oh, you're having a boy. He's like, don't expect him to be tough. You know, boys, when they fall, they cry. Like, you expect them to be tough, and they just cry a lot more than girls. And I can tell you that ain't the case with mine, at least. This guy put his tooth through his lip from hitting it on the edge of the coffee table.
Really?
Gave him an Oreo, and he was good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's had his eyebrows. He's not his eyebrow. Where was it? I think it was somewhere around here. He's had that split like 3 or 4 times, just because I'm not one of those people that are like, oh wait, no, you can't do that. That's not safe. I'm like, let me figure it out.
Yeah, let's see where this goes. Let's.
Yeah. Luckily, he's never been seriously hurt, but.
Oh, yeah. Either get him in the infantry or get him in the UFC. Sounds like a tough killer right there.
Yeah, that is something, because their grandpa on Lily, my girlfriend's side, he's real big into jiu-jitsu. I could care less about it, but
yeah,
I would. It is something I would like to, but from what I understand, it's fairly fucking expensive.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the gym you go to, it's anywhere from like 100, maybe like 180 a month for a gym. That's like per person.
That's not too bad. Once he gets to, we're kind of waiting for him to get a little older. I'm going to start him in T-ball and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
My daughter has no interest in this. She's a fucking ballerina to the T.
Yeah.
Doing the dance. And that's what that is.
Yeah. Like, I don't know anything about it, but I mean, it's,
Yeah, it was fun to go. It's fun to watch them. They're funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty much, other than work, that's all I hang around with is a 2 and a 5-year-old.
Do you feel it's I mean, I imagine there's obviously to some degree, but I mean, just being a dad now, like if you felt like you've changed, matured, that whole thing.
I didn't catch that whole thing.
Oh, you're okay. Question. Just being a dad now for the past couple of years, you felt you've matured or changed a little bit?
Yeah, but I think I have, but I've still tried to be the same person I was.
Yeah.
Like, I still try to have fun, get drunk, fucking just keep it real, degenerate like I used to be.
Yes, sir.
And I'll even tell people, it's like, yeah, I can't. Talking to a lot of the guys I hang out with here, mainly guys from work, and they're big drinkers, you know.
Yeah.
So it's country fried dudes, fucking big Southern guys. They'll start talking about how much they're drinking. I'm like, yeah, I can't do that shit no more. And I sound like an old timer. Like, what do you mean you're 27? It's like, no. Or I'll tell them about how much we used to be able to get fucking shit hammered till like 1, 2 in the morning and go for a fucking PT run, just puke the whole time.
Yep.
Now I have fucking trouble waking up sober at fucking 7 in the morning.
Yeah, dude. We're not even 30, man, and this getting old stuff. It's for the birds.
Do you get anything? Do you do anything like with the VA, like I don't know, benefits, like the disability thing?
I just started that actually earlier this year. My friends were hounding me on it because it's like it's been 3 years and you haven't done anything with it. And
yeah,
I just now did it. I haven't got my I don't know, like it's like the appointment to make sure that you have like whatever disabilities that you claim, all that jazz.
I don't know nothing about it. I haven't done it either. I was just curious.
No, yeah, it just gets started. I mean, if anything, I can reach. I should have done it, but I should probably just. I could reach out to a few people. I mean, if they know a guy who knows a guy to help you out.
Other than this podcast, I'm going to ask you a question. What are you up to now?
I'm doing a lot of Muay Thai. I'm thankfully I can't see it. I got a small little cut on my eyebrow because my sparring partner's toe fucking.
Definitely see something when you turn, but very identical.
Yeah, just I've been doing that. I'm trying to my debut fight. It's a tournament, should be in November, so I'm training for that. That's going to be my big thing.
Oh shit, badass!
Oh yeah,
I wish I could say I'd do something like that, but I don't.
Hey, you were an infantryman. You can say that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Got to look on the positive side, I guess. But it's fun.
No, I'm too lazy to do that shit now.
No, I feel you, man. There's a lot of me because like it's crazy because like I'll have a couple of my friends who say that, but at the same token, like I say that to myself after almost every practice sometimes, or if I have like one of those days where I'm just getting my ass kicked, like today, he's technically my coach, like my sparring partner, but he's been at it for almost 20 years. He's like 2 weight classes ahead of me. He was really trying to get me to. He's really trying to like bring out like the best in me for like this training session and just killing me the whole time. And obviously I'm not going to quit at it, but like, I don't know. People don't see that side of it. It's like your body's just worn down. You got cuts, bruises, you're like limping and stuff like that. Like, fuck.
Yeah. Makes you feel a lot older than you actually are.
Oh my God, dude. I was listening to Bill Burr talk about, and you'll probably appreciate this being in a blue collar trade, but he's like blue collar trades and athletes are literally the same thing. It's like you're grinding it out in your 20s, but once you hit 35, 40, your body's just like, dude, we got to do something else. We can't do this forever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually been making me think about going to the VA because you hear that, like I've worked for a small company, but I think the average age of the company is like fucking 55 to 60. They, for some reason, other than like 1 or 2 guys, everybody's just fucking old.
Yeah.
And they're all complaining, and then I'll say something like, yeah, man, my fucking knee has been killing me, something like this. They're like, oh, you're 27. I was like, yeah, but I got a little bit of extra wear and tear in there built in. Like, yeah, fuck.
Yeah, there's a whole there's a whole 4 years that you didn't know about that.
Yeah.
No, it's ironic you mentioned that. Flannery was telling me the same thing because I guess he did welding for a little bit.
Yeah, he worked at a small shop down around here.
Yeah, and he was telling me that there was this like Mexican dude who had like one eye at his shop. Yeah. He's like, I can't do that. I don't want to be like that.
But see, welding though, that's a lot tougher because I know guys that are my age, maybe a little older, that are welding, but they do it he was at a kind of a shitty shop, so I could see why he kind of had a bad outlook on it. But
okay, yeah.
Yeah, there's actually one of her best friend's husbands, and we saw him this weekend. He does it. He makes a shit ton of money. He's fine, but he works in like a plant, and they don't, I think he's union.
Yes.
Yeah, he is. So I think I heard him even mention something about that union would be better.
Yeah.
I don't know much about unions, so I can't say shit about it.
Yeah. Plus, I know with because like I go to a trade school too, and like I looked into like the electrical unions, and from what I've heard, like the unions they vary per trade in terms of like how they work, how good they are, like just the variety of what they can be.
Yeah.
And so, like for you being because you're a like, are you a boat mechanic right now, or are you just
No, so I did that for about a year after I did that school. The school
Yeah.
was a year, and I think I did it for a year. And then as soon as my son was born, I was like, fuck this. I didn't like the place I worked. I worked at a dealership down in the center of Orlando.
Okay.
And yeah, I actually, the guy that comes fix my AC, I work for him now. So
Oh, really?
I do service calls. I'm service HVAC service tech.
Oh, really? Okay.
Legitimate title.
Nice.
I recommend a lot. If anybody's looking for something to do, go do HVAC.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good place to start.
Mm-hmm.
I literally, the guy came work on my AC. I started talking to my neighbor. I'm like, man, I can't fucking remember his name, but first time I met him, it was right when Colin and me moved down here.
Mm-hmm.
And this was years later after my son was born.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't remember his fucking name, but I've been trying to catch him while he's here. When he comes to fix the drain line or something's wrong with the unit. And I keep missing him. Well, my neighbor's best friends with his dad. And I didn't know that. And I just started.
Okay.
And I went on a ride along with him. And
yeah,
I'm about to hit my 2-year mark now. And,
good for you, man.
I even tell everybody that asks me about it, it's something that I could see myself doing for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
It's something that I can stay in Florida and move around and find a job, or I could even move up to Chicago and be different systems, but could have a job anywhere. I can go back home with a good, decent paying job.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I noticed this like with nurses and stuff like that. Like you'll never have to worry about work ever again because you have a skill set that a lot of people aren't pursuing.
Unless fucking power goes out forever or something crazy in the world happens, I don't think there's many people going to live without AC.
No, yeah.
Especially in your neck of the woods and here.
Oh yeah. It's crazy, man. We get like we're obviously pretty seasonal because of like the summertime being out here, but it's like summertime. It's like there's so much work for HVAC to do around here just because it's like 115, 120 degrees. People will pay. They'll throw money away to get it fixed like that day if it breaks.
Yeah, I bet.
How is it? I'm a little curious too, just because like I'm kind of in the trade a little bit. Like, how is working HVAC in Florida? Like, in terms of like the state, the humidity? Is it
It sucks during the summers. I mean, August, June, July, August.
Mm-hmm.
It fucking sucks. I mean, especially depends on the company for sure. My company, very small. I'm the only service guy. Well, me and the owner, the actual owner. I went on vacation. When you first reached out to me, I drove to Louisiana. I had to leave my keys for my service van, so the owner could come and take it when he had service calls.
Okay.
So it's just me and him that do service. We do a lot of commercial stuff, but just on the service side, what are you doing? It's a gecko. Leave it be. We got a gecko in the house. Everybody's going crazy. But yeah, so my company is small, and he kind of takes care of me. He doesn't like getting in attics, so he tries to kind of defer unless it's like a long-term customer or something, long-time customer, old friend.
Yeah.
He keeps me out of attics. He keeps me out of crawl spaces.
Mm-hmm.
So, so that's nice because obviously you get the fucking attic in the middle of June and it's 115-degree index or 99% humidity.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna suck.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's pretty nice. Like most of the time you're outside, or if you go up on a roof, I go on a lot of roofs. Other than middle of summer, it's usually sunny and 85, 80, summer 75, and it's nice.
Yeah. So
unless you're in a building, it's usually not bad.
No, yeah. Did you have to start out as like an apprentice Like when you began, or how did that work?
So technically, you're supposed to. That's kind of how like my boss did it, and that's how everybody I know did it. But this guy, I think he's just been in his company for about 5 years. So he started. They were working with the union. They were working for this big company called MSI, and then he broke off, and his dad even worked for him. Well, the son broke off and created his own little HVAC service company, and then now we got like I think 10 guys. But I started about 2 years ago. They just kind of started me. It's like kind of a mom and pop place. You walk in, say, "Hey, you guys hiring?" They say, "Yeah," and you start the next day.
All right, sick.
So he started at first. I was with him, and then I kind of got tossed around through the different guys that were there. Just because I was so new, whatever I could do with help with the amount of work we had.
Yeah,
just helping everybody I can, and them just learning. And eventually, I got to the point to where they gave me a truck, and they were like, "Hey, they could send me on small calls, and if I ran into trouble, I could call somebody to help me."
Yeah.
And then now I just go run out, fill out invoices, and just kind of got tossed in there and started doing it and learned it as you went. I didn't do any kind of apprenticeship. I did try to go to school for it, but like I used because the school for marine mechanics, I only used a year on my GI Bill.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, fuck, I got plenty of time. Let me just go to another school, and did that, and the school wound up being completely dog shit. Like they fucked up my paperwork, and they filed I don't know exactly how they did it. But I got a phone call from the school saying, "Hey, you got to file for financial aid. The last 2 months of your school is not paid for."
What?
And then I called the VA, like, "What the fuck?" And they're like, "Yeah, it shows I forgot what they said. I think they said you're not enrolled anymore. It says the school ended." And on top of that, I think halfway through, like I think it's a 9-month program, like 3 months in, I come back from Louisiana, went on a quick little vacation, come back. I see one of my buddies, and he's like, "Hey, you hear the school shutting down?" I'm like, "What?" Well, they were fucking got caught with fraud. And then I was going to be the last class. Yeah, they were fucking like faking papers for these people that didn't even have a GED or shit like that, so they can get enrolled in it, and just falsifying shit. So they got caught. So they were already planning on shutting down. Then I got a call from the VA like, "Hey, shit's fucked up." I wound up having to pay the VA like $2,200 because they paid me for the month because they send you the verification text.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still in school." Well, they paid for it, and then on paper, I wasn't in school. So I had to pay all that back. It was completely fucked.
Yeah, even though that does sound like a complete
because I think I was in Louisiana again, and the VA guy, he's like, so I told him everything I was going on. He's like, "Yeah, man, you should probably get out of there."
Yeah.
He's like, "You should probably stop going."
This is going to implode very quickly.
Yeah. No, I actually didn't even finish that one. I just stopped going. I was like, I'm not paying for the school that just completely fucked me.
Yeah, clearly, especially if they're getting busted for fraud or whatever it is they're doing over there.
It was a Florida-based school, like community college kind of deal. But the other school, the Marine Mechanics School, MMI, they do like all the UTI, Marine motorcycle, diesel, all that stuff. They were really good. It was a really good school. I enjoyed it. You don't really learn what you need, but you learn the basics. Kind of like McMap. It's not teaching you how to fight, but it's going to leave you not looking completely stupid.
Yeah, it's some foundation, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear what you think about this too, especially now since you've been in the trade a little longer. Because from what I've gathered, like trade schools, they almost seem kind of like schoolhouses in a sense. Like when you think of like ITB, for example, where like if you just use that by yourself, I don't really feel like you're going to be that good, but it gives you something
you need on the job. And even so, while I was going to the Marine Mechanics School, I got a job at a little shop right down the road from our house. And there was 3 guys that worked there. One of them was the owner, and I became the 4th. And just a small little boat, just a service shop. Didn't sell boats. They sold parts, but not big parts. And they were really good about taking me under their wing. They paid me dog shit because I was just a helper.
Yeah.
But they took me under the wing and they kind of taught me what I need to know to do, like services or start mounting shit on boats, like install display screens and navigation and trolling motors and stuff. And then it was actually when she found out she was pregnant, I was like, all right, well, I'm not making enough.
Yeah.
I got to start looking for a new job. And I got a job at a big dealership in
life kicks in.
Yeah, in Orlando. And they saw I had experience and all that bullcrap. But I was like, I always had help when I was doing it. I had somebody to check everything I did. You know, they didn't want, it's such a small shop. They didn't have anybody to fix it if I fucked it up. So they always made sure I didn't fuck it up. And so I went to this big one and they just kind of said, like, hey, we like you, you know. And I told them, I was like, hey, I was babied. So take it easy on me.
Yeah.
And they just threw me to the fucking wolves. And the head mechanic there was kind of an ass and just wasn't a good place. And that's what eventually led me to switch to HVAC.
Yeah.
The school, even the guy that went to the school that was the head mechanic, he's like, yeah, they don't teach you shit. I was like, well, could you help me out a little bit?
So if there's anyone that's, because like I know, especially because like you remember a lot of our guys, they look into like skill bridge or maybe getting into a trade when they're getting out. Would you recommend going to a trade school, or like if they wanted to do something physical like blue collar, how would you recommend they go about that?
I would see what they got on base, because literally how I got involved with the MMI school, I just requested information. I went on their website. I was like, I want to know more about the marine side, the Marine Mechanics Institute. And a guy called me up the next day. I was in the gym at Wallace Creek. And he's like, hey, man, I'm here on base. I heard you wanted more information. Just want to see if you wanted to meet up. Met up. He told me all about it, kind of did this, told me all this. I don't remember how the interview went and what we talked about. Kind of told me how to apply. And then he's like, is this something that you sure you want to do? And I was pretty positive at that point. So he did the application for me while I was right there. He helped me through it. And it was a good school. They do teach you a lot, but you also need the experience. You're not going to get out of school and know everything.
Yeah.
You got your bad eggs, like the second one I went to, which they did have some good, some like 1 or 2 good instructors. The rest of them were kind of dog shit.
Yeah,
they taught me some stuff, but along the way I was doing the job at the same time.
Yeah.
So just make sure you do your research on it. Look at the reviews. Look at what people say coming out of it. Look at the bad. Look at the good. And make your decision off of that, because you can get fucked or you could have a really good time. I met a buddy in the Marine school that I go down to South Florida and spend the weekend down there. We go fishing and drinking on the beaches, and you know, he's always offering for me to take the family. You can meet some good people. He's actually an Army guy, Army vet.
Okay, sick.
Yeah, so I definitely, if it's something you want to get into, but I'm gonna fucking send a shot at Colin. Don't fucking just randomly do it. Don't say, hey, I think welding would be cool, and then do it. Do a little more research. Flannery was kind of a wild card.
Yeah.
Picking welding. I told him, I was like, welding is something I personally never want to do. Too fucking hot. Too hot. I've done a little bit of it in high school and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But do your research. That's pretty much all you can really do.
Plan ahead. You say?
Yeah. I fell into the HVAC thing and I love it. I truly do. It's something I can be happy with and kind of proud of myself. And it's fun to fix things, you know, show up and 5 minutes later the unit's running and you look like a fucking genius.
Yeah.
But yeah. Just got to do your research.
I like that.
an elongated answer on just do your research.
No, you're good. You're good on me.
Yeah. You're gonna have to start slowing down on these guys.
That might be the mental superpower you need, honestly, man. I would say.
I start rambling. You know, I have too many. If I'm like, wait, what was I talking about?
Yeah, we'll be going down some rabbit holes real quick, and then forgot what I was gonna mention with that, but
yeah, no, we kind of just as soon as I got on, we kind of just took off.
Yeah, just rambled on about HVAC and trades, and Florida a little bit.
Have you been? Your family and everybody's from Florida?
Yeah, pretty much. I have a couple of my family. They live in Georgia now, but we're all Florida based, pretty much.
Yeah,
and we're more.
Do you come back and see them pretty often?
Around the holidays a little bit. I mean, because I'm in Arizona, I'm like the only one out here, so takes a little bit for me to travel, in terms of when I have to call off work or put in pay for flights, stuff like that.
I get you. We just the day you text me, it was a 9.5 hour drive with 2 fucking kids and a dog.
Yep.
It didn't end up being 9.5 hours.
No, yeah, that's Isn't it funny how because I imagine when we're kids and stuff, we don't think about we just think about the long drives, but now that you're the family man or the dad, it's you look at that it's a whole
shut the fuck up and go to sleep. That's really all you want.
Yeah.
That's so we drove there at night. When you text me, it's kind of towards the evening. We had just left, or we might have been an hour or so in the drive. I don't know exactly what time you text. And then on the way back, we drove there in the day. And I woke up at 4 and got everything ready. And we loaded the kids and we just took off. It was about 5 o'clock by the time we left. And we didn't get back to Florida till 5 in the afternoon.
Oh.
And just during the ride. So they were up the entire time almost. They took their naps here and there. No, so during the day.
Oh, okay.
So when we drive back to Florida was during the day, most of it.
Yeah.
They slept for the first 2 hours. And then I think I even looked over to my girlfriend. I was like, I can't deal with 2 motherfuckers just rambling on like this. I was like, I can't. I don't know how much longer I can take it.
That's so funny. They sleep just enough to where you're like, you know what? I think we're in the clear. I think we're okay. And then
It got to the point where I was scared to stop for gas. I was like, is he going to wake him up? Oh my God. And then the dog didn't help. Every time you stop, I got a German Shepherd. She sits right in the middle of them. We got a little SUV.
Yeah.
Every time you stop, she gets up. She's like, oh shit, where are we going? Wakes them both up. It's like, oh, it's a fucking shit show. But they weren't bad. At night, you got to drive at night because that's the only time they sleep the whole way.
No, yeah. Now looking back, I understand why my stepdad, why he did that when we would do road trips and stuff like that. But why are you going to drive? It's we always thought it was because no one was on the road. But when you mention it that way, now I realize.
Yeah, I remember those. We'd go to vacations back when I was young. And usually we didn't go far, so it'd be those fucking early morning. You just kind of dream you're getting put into a car seat or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or put in a car and then you wake up and you're driving. It's like, oh, we got 30 minutes left. Cool.
Yeah.
They were smart about it.
Now, do you plan on raising them as native Floridians, or are you gonna try to authenticate them with their Louisiana Cajun roots a little bit?
We're gonna do some Cajun shit.
We're already doing keeping the culture alive.
I do my crawfish balls. I do my crab balls. I know that's not a big, but it's a Florida thing. I know a lot of guys around here do a lot of crawfish and crabs and stuff like that. But when we usually go to Louisiana and see my family probably about once a year. That's why this year we planned it. We did my son's birthday and we kind of did a birthday for both the kids. Yeah. And my whole family came and then we saw pretty much everybody. But every time we go, we usually take one. This time we took 2 ice chests and we go to the Cajun meat markets and we just fucking load them up. I think we bought about $700 of meat, just Cajun, especially bacon wrapped alligator, I got all kind of boudin, sausages,
Oh my
and
God.
most of it's pretty homemade sausage. Because the
Man.
supermarkets, they make their own shit. They don't get it from a supply house or something like that. They make their own.
Yeah. And
So,
especially I imagine like with like the Bayou being as rural as it can be, it's like it's definitely like authentic, like, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. And it was funny. My in-laws actually came this time, and we went. And my aunt, she lives at the end of a road, and there's a levee behind her house, and then it's just nothing but marsh. And there's on the front side of the house, there's my uncle's shrimp boat,
Yeah.
and it's just one bayou and a road going down each side of it. One road ends, and the other one keeps going till it ends.
Oh,
And it's just shrimp boats, crab boats, and that's just how everybody down there, most of everybody down there, makes their living.
yeah.
But I took her dad, my father-in-law, and we went out. We took somebody's canoe that was just sitting there. We took it, went fishing, and there's
So
alligators
poetic.
all around. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, man, there's a lot of gators out here. I'm like, dude, you're from Florida.
Yeah.
He was from Miami, moved up, they back in. And it's like just as many gators there, and I'm sitting there smacking the water, seeing if he'll come close to it. He was freaked out. It was pretty funny.
That's funny. Just parrot. Like people don't understand that if they're not from those states like you and I. It's paradise on earth, is what it is.
Oh yeah, yeah. We even talk about it every now and then. It's like I want to move back, but I don't want to move back, and it's a big tussle. It sucks being away from family, but I don't really want to be that close to them.
Yeah.
Got to find a gray area, maybe Georgia or something.
Yeah, that's the funny thing with family is like when you're away from them for too long, you're like, man, like I miss the people that like literally like we raised each other with, kind of thing. But then when you go back to them for like more than a week, you're like, oh, now I know why I left.
Exactly. Yeah. But it kind of sucks here because she doesn't have a whole lot of family here, so our kids, they really don't know a lot of kids other than the ones that they go to daycare with. And we'll go to the park here and they'll play with some. But back where I'm from, my family's fucking huge. My cousin, she's 3 months older than me. She's got 4 kids, and they're all about my kids' age. Some are a little older.
Oh, that's perfect for
everybody's got kids down there. There's so many kids. It's fucking nuts. That's why I grew up around a bunch of kids. Most of my nieces are starting to graduate high school now.
Yeah.
And shit like that, because just everybody has babies, and they don't just have one.
Yep.
And she's got one
in Louisiana, I imagine.
Yeah, it's the same old that farm guy concept, that old time farmer concept.
Yep.
Just have a bunch of fucking kids. But I would like to raise them like around that family, that kind of style of family. Just a big Thanksgiving's got like 60 fucking people at it.
Yes, exactly.
But I don't know. I like the idea of Louisiana. I don't like Louisiana.
Mm-hmm. What is it that because like I'm not from there, and like obviously Louisiana, I imagine it's its own country where like it has its own culture, its own history, kind of thing. But like, how is it as a state in general?
It's kind of shitty.
Well, that's one way to describe it.
Well, the areas that I'm from, like, so everybody thinks either Baton Rouge or New Orleans as soon as you mention Louisiana. Yeah. I have been to New Orleans maybe 6 times, and that's it. Probably 4 of those times were just flying out of the airport. I fucking hate New Orleans. I hate anything north of like Houma, and Houma's like at the south.
Okay.
And where that's at, especially after the most kind of recent hurricanes, just turned to kind of just trashy looking. You know, a lot of people lost their houses, and there's a lot of old people just leave shit.
Yeah,
like there's boats just sitting around on land, and it's cool. It's kind of fun to look at. You go down, but it's starting to get to the point where it looks trashy. I mean, you really can't blame anybody but Mother Nature, but it's still pretty. You go to certain parts. Yeah, my daughter, when we first rolled into the town, she's like, wow, this place is rusty. Somebody should clean it up. And we're like, what the fuck?
Kids are like
But
little drunks.
it's
They
like
just
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
so most of the, I mean, obviously, I mean, it's Louisiana, so I imagine, but like most of the state from like, just from what I'm gathering, it's like deep South, kind of like Mississippi, Alabama. It's rural. Some of it's abandoned, I imagine, from what you're talking about.
no. So it's weird. I'm sure. I mean, I never really lived in multiple parts of other states, so
Mhm.
can't say this for sure.
Yeah.
But it's like South Louisiana, like the very south, from southeast to southwest. That
Hmm.
bottom layer of Louisiana, that's its own state. And then
Okay.
you got like the middle of the state.
Hmm.
It's completely different. Different accents,
There's
different.
wait, there's more accents to this Louisiana
Oh yeah.
accent.
So
Asian?
in golf company, it was funny. There was 3 guys from Louisiana. Me, I can't remember the other guy's name. I know he went Marsoc.
Hmm.
And then there was another guy, Wiggins or something. He was
Wiggins,
from
yeah.
North Louisiana. The other
Okay.
guy was from Baton Rouge, which is about central. And then there was me from south. I used to go out shrimping during the summers in school.
Okay.
One guy, he sounded country, like a country fucking bumpkin. Like he was from Mississippi or Georgia, just talk like this and shit like that. The other guy didn't sound like he had an accent at all.
To hear you say that somebody sounds like a country bumpkin, that says a lot.
Well, when I
Not to
don't know
say
how,
you are one, but you have a strong Southern accent. So
well, it's a different type of accent. Mine's a lot more twangy now.
yeah, twangy. No, that's
But when I first joined the Marine Corps, you could ask a lot of these guys, like I know Ryan, Colin, all them. They probably couldn't fucking understand me, especially if I was drunk or talking fast or excited. They probably had no idea what I was saying. It's that kind of. It's like a Creole. It's not even a Cajun.
yeah.
It's kind of mumbling. I really can't do it anymore.
Yeah, it's like a because I've only been around Creole maybe like once or twice, but it's like a mix of stuff. It's
Yeah,
thrown
it's not
together.
that. It's not super twangy like most of those southeastern states. And then
Mhm.
you get, but North Louisiana, it's super twangy. Sounds like they're from Arkansas, and then we call it South Arkansas.
Okay.
And then you get to like the middle of the state, Baton Rouge, and you could still slightly hear that Louisiana, but it's also got that twang mixed in.
Hmm.
And I really can't do that one. And then you get to South Louisiana and like, where you been at, ya? How you been, baby? Where's your mom in there? And it's like when we went down this past time, my in-laws came and I had to warn them about family members. Like, hey, if you see my pawpaw,
Hmm.
you're not gonna be able to understand him. So just come get me, and
Yeah,
I'll kind of be your translator because he's
that's
got
so
no
funny.
teeth. He's freaking. And then, like, even my dad sometimes. First time Lily, she was pregnant with my son. She met my dad, and the first thing he says is like, "Are you pregnant? Are you pregnant?" Like, what the fuck did you just say to me? He's like, "Are you prejudiced?" Well, I had to translate. I was like, he said, "Are you prejudiced?"
Oh,
He
I
was
can't
trying to make
imagine.
this is
Dude, I
joke.
can't imagine if the Boogaloo or the Civil War pops off and like we're gonna need translators if we go into Louisiana. It's like the last place I would expect to do that. Not for French, but for
Yeah, just normal English. You
yeah,
want me to translate, but you're gonna have to say, "Hey, man, I don't know what the fuck you're saying."
yeah.
Yeah, it's especially down where my dad's side of the family is. That's kind of where we kind of grew up, especially when I was real young, and then I kind of moved away. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's. I always tell myself if something pops off, I'm going straight there.
Hell yeah.
I
Is
can
it just
catch and eat whatever the fuck I want. And nobody really wants to go to South Louisiana, so you're pretty safe.
other than like what's like the drawback of just going there? Like is it just the hurricane, so like it floods
Yeah,
pretty frequent?
yeah. Actually, where I grew up as a kid, well, actually, no, where my aunt lives, my aunt and uncle, my godmother and my godfather, and my sister used to live down there. When there's a hurricane coming, it's non or what's the fucking word? You have to evacuate. I can't think of the word right now. It's like
Yeah, like
forced. Like you have to get the fuck out of here.
Oh, like
You can't.
it's like the
You don't have a
government
choice.
in the states will make you
Yeah,
leave.
yeah. And then there's one little bridge, or no, one big bridge. No, I'm sorry. There's one little bridge, and you get about 10 minutes up the road, and that's all that to down south is like you have to get the fuck out of here. And then there's a point where it gets higher in sea level. I don't really know exactly the line. And that's when they're like, all right, you probably should get the fuck out of here, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
For like the last one. The last one, they made pretty much everybody leave because it was a direct hit on where we were at. And a lot of people lost their roofs, lost their houses. So that one, all the way up to, they call it the overpass. And it's just this one big ass bridge. It's right near my dad's house. And that's how you get to, you'll hear people be like, yeah, I'm going down to Bayou. You got to cross that bridge to get there. After you cross that bridge, you're considered down to Bayou. And pretty much for real direct hits like Katrina, Rita, I don't think they were as well. Probably, yeah. I think Rita was just as bad because they were scared of Katrina after Katrina. And then this last one, what was the last one's name?
Ida.
Ida.
That was a really bad one.
Yeah.
That one, it fucking tore it up.
That was about as
Yeah.
that one was as bad as Andrew was for them.
Yeah.
Now, just for the fun and humor of it, but I imagine there's like a good answer to it because people even joke to me about being from Florida. It's like if you guys have hurricanes that come up that bad, and like I imagine with Louisiana too, with the flooding being the way it is, like why stay there? Like if you know that it's going to come every so often, like just what makes people stay?
They don't know anything else. I know from where I'm from specifically, they've been down there all their lives because they don't know anything else. And they don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like here, I mean, we've had a couple hurricanes while me and Colin still lived here together. We're central, so it doesn't really bother us. But even on the coast, it's like, doesn't happen that often. Usually you got a pretty good chance on not losing your house, but there's always a risk. So it's like, why leave? You know?
Yeah.
Like you got to buy a Corvette and then why go over 70 miles an hour? Because it's fucking fun to live next to the beach. It's fun to live, you know, where the best fishing in the world is and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, why not, I guess.
Yeah, well.
Why not stay?
Was it hard like dealing with that growing up, or was it just like something that you had to deal with if it ever came up?
So after once, I think I was like 5 or 6 when I kind of moved away from the Bayou, and I moved a little further up. But I would still go to my dad's house and go to see all of them, and it's probably harder on them. And even then, most of the time, it doesn't hit there super hard. Like I said, the last one was Ida, and the one before that was Andrew, and I don't even know how long ago Andrew was.
Yeah.
But it doesn't hit. You get hit and you get flooded, but all the houses down there are prepared now. You probably see about 10, 20 houses down there, and there's a lot of houses down there.
Yeah.
You get 10, 15 houses that are still on the ground, but they're built on a hill, so the flow waters can't get them. Every other house is on stilts and high as fuck in the air, and that's just how it is. You get kind of used to it. And luckily, we're not a soup bowl like New Orleans was.
Yeah.
Usually, if the hurricane hits us, it just fucks shit up. The waters come up, yeah, but they don't fuck anything up too bad. Unless you got something out underneath your house, then they go away. You go right back into the Gulf, and it's fine. You just got to worry about the wind, and since the last one was a direct hit, that really tore everything up. It wasn't bad enough, but well, yeah, it was pretty bad. I don't know what I was going to say there, but
but it's kind of like Florida now, where it's they know that it's just a way of living, so they just prepare for it, and they.
I think I heard a thing yesterday. I think 1,200 people are moving to Florida a day. It's not
moving to Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know where they got that from. It was some. What was it? It was an ad for something. I don't know if it was home insurance or some weird shit like that.
It wouldn't surprise me because like where I'm from Daytona Beach, so like the Volusia County area. So like some of those towns that like I grew up in that were like suburbia or a little bit rural, they're not even that way anymore. There's a lot of people living there now.
It's nuts. So we live right. I don't know what. I can never remember this. We're in like South Orlando. We're
Uh-huh.
kind of like middle. But we're about an hour and 15 from Daytona. It'd be
Okay.
South Central.
Yeah.
We're near Lake Apopka. I don't know if that means anything, but
We're an hour from Ocala.
yeah, I know. But yeah, we're west of Orlando, but 30 minutes west. So we're just outside. And even since from the time me and Colin moved here, so we're in this little bitty ass town called Oakland. On one side there's Winter Garden, and one side there's Claremont. Well, Winter Garden, it's done been built up. It's nothing but fancy city folks, and it's uppity. Well, out to Claremont, there was open field, shit like that. You know, there were a couple car dealerships and some businesses a little beyond that, but it was open. Since then, they've added like 4 new red lights. They fucking put a Costco and about 4 or 5 more car dealerships. There's a fucking Tesla now. And even out to where she's from, Ocala, Lily.
Okay, yeah.
And
I was there when there was one night.
yeah, they're starting to put housing developments fucking everywhere. It's going away.
Would you
That's
almost
one reason I kind of want to move back to Louisiana.
No, yeah, I feel it. There's an Air Force guy. He was friends with well, I don't think he's Air Force. He was a Marine guy that was out here I was talking with. He was in Florida for a little bit. I kind of agree with him, but he said Florida's in a way kind of become the East Coast California in a sense.
Oh no, for sure. Housing in this neighborhood, right down the road. I can probably run to it right now.
Yeah,
I'd be dying because I never run, but they're starting at $1 million.
Really?
$1 million piece. In this neighborhood, you might find something for 400,000.
Yeah, okay.
If you're lucky. I think there's a couple of but they're older houses. Like this one's old as shit. And we got a great deal on rent, so that's why we've been here the whole time. But even in they call it Crime Hills, it's close to Orlando.
Yeah.
Fucking 400,000, dude. Middle of the ghetto. It's nuts.
Yeah, dude, it's yeah, I know with like the inflation and definitely like cost of living, I imagine obviously it's always yeah, it sucks with states like this. Like Arizona too is the same way because we got a lot of people moving, especially from California where they stop by. It sucks because like people are coming here for refuge, but then it like drives up everything, and then more people want to leave, and it's ironic because like I'm not, you would know more about Louisiana than I would, but I was looking at houses in some of the states that people are leaving, like West Virginia or Alabama or like Wisconsin, stuff like that, and you look and it's like, damn, like this stuff it's livable. It's not. It's pretty cheap.
Louisiana, everybody, all my family thought I was the reason, or Lily, my girlfriend, was the reason I wasn't moving back, and really it's because of me. She wants to move there just because the houses are so cheap.
Yeah.
I went on Zillow a few weeks ago. Started looking at houses here, and you see a lot for 400,000 to like 500. That's kind of your basis. You'll get some that are like 350, 390. And then we looked at Louisiana. I think I found a 5-bedroom, 4-bath brick house. I think it was 2 stories, 300,000.
Really?
Yeah. And it's all like that. Even the land, just buying land here, you'll pay like 150K for a couple acres. There, it's like half price.
Jeez, man.
And, you know, you get the same amount of acreage for like 60. It's nuts.
I don't even want to know what a 5-bedroom would be. Yeah, I don't even want to know what a 5-bedroom would be in Florida or Arizona or God forbid wherever this stuff is.
A kid I work with, his parents are selling their house right now for I think $950, and it's a 5-bedroom.
Oh,
yeah, and nice. It's in a nice old subdivision, but I got a lot bigger backyard, and you couldn't sell this house for fucking 500.
Yeah.
But it's nuts. I've already given up on the idea of buying a house here. I don't want it.
Yeah.
It's not even a smart investment I find anymore.
Yeah, man, especially with the unless you're trying to like rent it out or sell that thing, it's like just to buy it, just to live in it by yourself. It's like it's not really.
Not when I got all of my family 10 hours away, and the housing is fucking for $150,000. I could buy land and a double wide, and I'd be pretty set up.
Shoot, you could use that extra money you save buy like a boat or steal your neighbor's canoe and
yeah. Shit. No, I don't know who it belonged to, but I think it was somebody I knew. I'm related to most of the fucking people down there.
Okay. Well, it is the deep south, so we're all probably, I'm pretty sure we're probably cousins or something if we look deep enough.
Yeah, you never fucking know.
All right. Yeah, I was checking up on the time because I technically started like at 1 when I did the recording before you were able to get on, so I was just making sure the time was all good. Or 2 o'clock. Or, I don't know. The time zones in the time, they throw me off a little bit.
I don't even know how long we've even been on here.
Probably an hour and some change, I think.
Yeah, that's she said an hour and a half, but it didn't feel like that long. I was nervous. I was going to be nervous. I didn't have much to talk about.
Oh, dude, you had plenty, man. It's interesting. I don't know. It's interesting how quick this stuff goes by. It's very I don't know. Time flies when you're having fun, type of thing.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about just a funny thing. Talking about how I moved here, started a family, and everything. Well, the thing that actually got me and her talking and like kind of going on a date. Yeah. She went to high school with, I think, 2 guys. Or
Zach, Tiffany?
Tiffany from Golf Company.
Really?
You might. Yeah, she went to high school with guys from 2-8.
Elementary school.
And what was it, Tuesday?
Oh, yeah, Steven Tuesday.
Yeah, who was he? But she's my daughter's godfather. So
wait, say that one more time.
So a guy from 2-8 is my daughter. So my daughter is my stepdaughter.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I knew that was going to throw you off, but
no, you're okay.
So she had her before I met her, and what got her to start talking to me was, Tusa was in Steven Tusa. He was in Golf Company, so I knew him.
Okay.
And we like talk. I don't know. We didn't talk much, but I knew who he was, and he knew who I was. And when we started dating, she told him about it, and that's kind of how we began dating. And then my son came along, and just went on from there.
Dude, that's wild, man.
Yeah. I think Tiffany even texted me because I had gotten out. Obviously, I was here, and he was getting ready to get out, or he was getting ready to go on deployment. And I think I posted a picture with her, and he's like, dude, I went to high school with her.
Yeah.
It was nuts. There's so many fucking schools here.
Oh, dude.
That's another reason to stay. They're a lot better than, I think Louisiana's ranked like fucking 48th in education. Not something you look forward to seeing your kids to.
Yeah, I'm curious if they still teach the 6-day creationist stuff in Louisiana, or like what other wacky stuff.
They're actually just trying to build to put the 10 Commandments back into the classrooms.
Oh, I saw about that. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't find that too bad, but it's like, got a lot more things you could be worrying about.
Oh yeah, and on the 3rd day.
Yeah, fucking nuts.
Oh, that's funny. But, do you because I remember you were talking about like social, like with your kids being more social if you bring them to Louisiana and your family and stuff. And I know a lot of especially guys that we talk to who have kids, they worry about trying to keep them socialized, like especially nowadays with the phones and stuff being a thing. Do you worry about that, or do you have an approach to that? How that'll come down the road?
Not to be blunt about it, but like with the kind of like all the gay shit and shit like that. Like actually today, I told her we were at brunch with my in-laws, and she sets her phone up and she'll pick what she wants on Disney Plus or whatever. And I saw she's watching something, and they're like, it's a cartoon, but they're like kissing and doing all this, and she's only 4.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't need to be watching that. Turn that shit off. Watch something else. Go watch Doc McStuffins. Learn something. Learn how to take care of somebody.
Yeah.
Or a toy. I don't give a shit. Learn something that you don't need to know. Don't worry about fucking kissing and shit. I try to. I'm not fucking constantly watching what they watch and shit like that.
Yeah.
I think we both kind of try to.
Mhm.
Make sure they're still kids, you know.
It's yeah. I try to. It's like I don't have kids yet, but like just talking with our peers and our cohort, just seeing how they approach it. Because like I feel like with us growing up, it's a little the phones, the social media, and like with COVID now, with the way kids had to grow up, it's like socially, it's a lot different. I feel that
Oh yeah,
compared to when we grew
10
up.
times. How old are you?
26, 27,
Yeah.
26, yeah.
I'm
See, we're
27,
forgetting.
28. No, 27. 27, right? Yeah. I don't know. I always think I'm 28 for some reason.
Nah, dude. Isn't that crazy? We're like our parents do. We're forgetting our own age.
Well, the 28th is my birthday, the actual day of it. So I don't know why. Ever since I got close to it, I've been saying I'm 28 for some reason.
Oh, okay.
But I'm 27, and I'm sure you're like me. Just fucking, our parents just let us go and do shit.
Yeah.
Like my brother, he was 3 years older than me. So I'd be like 5 or 6 just following my 8-year-old brother and a cousin around. We'd go steal cigarettes and a porno mag and go look at titties out, steal a pirogue and go fishing and hunting. Well, not hunting, but we'd shoot shit, birds
Yeah.
that didn't need to be shot. We were just terrible.
Yeah, just letting your mind roam free, pretty much.
Yeah. We used to go for some reason. I don't know why it's not like this anymore, but all the kids in the little block we lived in were our age, and we'd play big football games and do bike races and shit.
Yeah.
The only time we were inside was when we had to be, really.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's completely opposite. I mean, I tried keeping them outside. During the summer, it's a lot harder. Excuse me. It's a lot harder because it's so fucking hot out here, and both my kids are pasty as shit. So we stay inside a little more during the summer, but I try keeping them out. I try not to. When it's nice outside, there's a nature trail that we go walk and do shit like that. But
Mm-hmm.
it's hard. Like I said, there's so much social shit.
Yeah.
This shit in TV. Even the commercials are fucking weird nowadays.
Yeah.
But
it's just all like it's all in our face. It's very hard to get around.
Yeah, I do what I can with them at least. But I'm more worried about. I think it's more worse. There's a Louisiana coming out. It's worse when you start getting into like school and shit. I'm thinking here might not be so bad, but you still got it. We went to an ice cream shop today and saw some weird shit. So it's everywhere.
I feel like, man. I do before we end up going though, I do want to get to the photo. I feel like we should.
Oh yeah.
Let me.
So actually, I picked that photo because it was me and Colin. He was kind of planning on being here, but he's not. Actually, when you text me that, I sent him a text on Snap. I was like, running away like the fucking coward you are.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think that about him, but I was thinking like, damn it, like what the fuck, Flannery?
Nah,
like this would have been a good little trio. We
I just fucking with him. No, he went to the beach. He went to hang out. I picked that one. I actually could have picked a better one from that same night. I mean, it wouldn't have been correlated at all. But so I had no background of going to any kind of event. Never been to a sporting event. Never been to a concert. Never been to anything.
Yeah.
And we found this place. It was Paige Van Zant. She fought in the UFC. She fucking sucked from what I understand. But tickets were like $40. I think we paid more for parking.
Yeah.
And we're like, fuck it, we're just gonna go to it. I never been anywhere. I was like, it'd be cool. So me and him go, and we bought fucking nosebleeds. This place was fucking empty. We snuck around to a good spot in the front row. We're sitting there right at the gate. Right underneath us is a person. All around the ring is the VIP, and right underneath us is like a security lady, older lady. But as the fight started going, fighters started passing. And I got a bunch of pictures from then. But the very first fight of the night, we took that picture. So that bitch, I forget her name, but she got her fucking ass whooped. And she won the fight. I think she won it by knockout or maybe by decision. but she looked fucked up. And I think I told you, she's been in some memes, like her post-fight interview.
Yeah.
She's like, I forget what she said, but I've seen her in some memes. I always send them to Colin.
Yeah, I wanted to, because I don't know if we can, while we're still here, but I wanted to confirm who she was, because I know there's this chick that's beefing with Paige Van Zandt, but she was like a porn star or something like that.
Oh, it wasn't her. So
Not her. Okay.
She fought before the Paige Van Zandt fight.
Okay.
Damn, who was she?
Because I don't think she looks familiar. I'm trying to.
I only know her from that fight, and I didn't even put two and two together. I remember seeing like memes and stuff, and then after watching the meme like once or twice, I'm like, wait the fuck a minute. I went back into my pictures, and I'm like, holy shit, that's her.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. She fought good. I mean, fuck. I mean, she looked like shit afterwards, but.
No, yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah. No, this is where we snuck to. So this is a different fighter, but we just snuck to the front row. And then what made the night really cool was, so we're sitting in our original seats that we were assigned. We get some beers. We start sitting in our actual assigned seats, and we're scoping it out where we want to move to.
Mm-hmm.
And we just drink beers. And then next thing you know, two fighters walk out, and we're like, dude, this thing's supposed to start another 15, 30 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
And if they start fighting, they go do the introductions. And there's this guy, he had never fought or something. And, well, he gets knocked out in the first fucking round.
Ooh.
They go, blah, blah, blah. We sneak over to the front row. We're sitting there. That girl comes. That guy we just took a picture with, he badass fighter. He won his fight real quick. But then that guy that lost first round got knocked out first round. He comes walking by. He was short. So we couldn't get a good picture. So we jumped down. He's like, come. So we jumped down into the VIP.
Dude, sick.
Take this picture.
Fuck
and
yeah,
then
man.
start walking around. And if I'd have known he wasn't going to be here, damn, I don't have her tagged in it. I want to say it was like Kayla something.
Let me
see if I can. Know. I'd have to look up that Paige Van Zandt debut and see who was on the card. But yeah. So we snuck down to the VIP, and I was fucking hammered. Colin was driving home, so I was drinking for the both of us. And all of a sudden, Colin goes, "Wait a minute, that's so and so." And I'm like, "Who is that?" He's like, "A porn star." And yeah, they're fucking. He just yells her name. She was some Spanish lady. And she turns around and she comes over and she starts talking to us. And sure enough, she's a fucking porn star. She plays a MILF a lot. I had to look her up afterwards. So we just got a picture with her. If I'd have known it was just me, I'd have sent that. And it's a little better story. It'd have been a lot funner to tell the story with him here because he probably remembers it better. But dude, I was so drunk. I was taking pictures with this guy. I thought he was Jorge Masvidal. He was not fucking Jorge Masvidal.
Oh my god!
It's this fucking guy right here.
Let me wait for it to. Okay, yeah. If you're drunk, he does look like Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah. I remember we took the picture. We got somebody else to take the picture. And I'm fucking hammered. And I remember Colin asking me, he's like, "Why we take that picture?" I was like, that's Jorge Masvidal. He's like, "No, man." It was a hell of a night. I don't even remember the Paige Van Zandt fight. I took a video and I think I posted it on my Snap story, and whatever I typed didn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
But yeah,
dude, I don't even think you need to remember those fights, man. It sounded like you had a blast.
No, it was a hell of a good time. And then we started going to Bucks games and stuff like that. And it was a good time.
Fuck, man. So we got to do two things. We need to hold Flannery accountable. We need to get Colin on another show with you, him, and me on now. And then I also need to go to a sporting event with you drunk next time. So
I don't know if I can get as reckless as I used to get, but
I will push those boundaries. It's all in the mind.
Yeah.
You do whatever you can. You set your mind to it.
How's Fitzy Mess say that? Marines never do the bare minimum.
Yep.
Yeah.
God bless, dude. Well, I don't know if you want to be called Lacoste or Gavin. I don't know if you prefer the slave
It
name.
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me.
All right, perfect. Or Cajun or Creole Lacoste.
Yeah, I'm the raging Cajun. No, I'm just kidding. You better
The
come
Raging Cajun. All right, so or go ahead.
No.
Oh, you're fine.
The
Yeah,
boys
so
in the boys in golf company called me G-string.
G-string. I may want to have to title this episode that now, just for shits and giggles. All right. Well, Gavin, G-string, Lacoste. Before we go, you have to give advice to all the boys that are still in, that are listening right now. That's just the little time-honored tradition we have. And then if you have anything you want to promote, plug, stuff like that, if you have social media, let everybody know.
I don't have anything to promote, but I'd say take pictures. Take pictures, and instead of complaining about the moment, be in the moment.
Mm.
'Cause you're gonna miss it. As shitty as it is, you're gonna miss it.
I love that.
Not miss it like you're gonna want to re-enlist, but miss it as wish you would have been aware of it more. There's so much shit that I forgot, and I wish I didn't, because I just kind of tried getting out of it as fast as I could.
Yeah.
That's it. I got so many. Well, I've lost a lot of pictures, not a lot, but some, and I wish I would have taken a lot more. Be gay. Take the moto pic.
Be gay. Take a moto pic. Be present in the moment. Oh, dude, I
Yeah.
love it. That's like one of the best closing remarks I've ever heard. Like that.
Yeah, I mean, shit. It's really it.
All right. Well,
yeah.
I'll probably keep up with you, Gavin. Maybe we'll talk a little bit after this, but yeah. Amazing episode.
If you're ever in Florida again, hit me up if you want to hang out. We're down in Orlando, but
10,000% I'm going to. You're gonna feed me whatever Cajun Creole dish that you can make.
I'll get you some. There you go.
All right, sick.
All right, man. Good talking to you.
All right, you too, homie. Bye, everybody.
Bye.